which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks everybody for coming. Everybody had a chance to read the minutes. Is there any corrections to the minutes?
I move we approve.
Thank you.
I'll second. Ron Rogers.
Ron Rogers. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. You've seen the treasurer's report. Is there any corrections, questions on that? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept. Is there a second?
I'll second. Charlie Sell does.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. All right. Introduction of guests. So we have quite a few candidates in the room, so, and engineer's office too, so. Candidates first. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sheila Caruso. I live in Ada, and I'm here to introduce myself as a candidate for running for the 83rd District for the State House this coming year. If you'd like to chat with me afterwards, I will hang around, but I'm not gonna take any more of your time. But I'm excited to see all of our township trustees and everyone else that works in the county.
Go ahead, Mike.
Hello everybody, my name is Michael Costler. I'm a Republican candidate for Hardin County Commissioner. I'm not here to campaign, I'm just here to observe and to learn. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to contact me later.
Michelle?
Michelle Lavis, and I just want to really thank you guys. I think that our townships are a front line of the majority of our county, and so I really appreciate the hands-on work that you guys put in, the zoning, the looking forward to what's coming, data centers, right? So we just get through wind and solar, and now, I'm not sure what that looks like for our county, but I just appreciate it. I appreciate you guys getting out there and plowing and caring for your cemeteries and being the face for those citizens. It's a big deal, so thank you.
Any other candidates? Oh, there you
George
are.
Stewart here, candidate for auditor, so I pay a lot of attention to what Mike's doing. I just follow it everywhere at this point. Don't be offended if I sneak out of here a little bit early. I'm Mount Victor's solicitor, made a meeting at 7:30, so I will have to sneak out with that. But feel free to reach out. Webpage is electschwimmer.com. You can reach out to me there if you have any questions, find out a little bit more about me, so thank you all.
And I announce that I am a candidate also for commissioner. That's all I'll say from the chair position. Engineer's office?
Yeah, I'm Trent Bass, Assistant County Engineer. I've met a lot of you guys, but I'm also a Liberty Township trustee now as well, so happy to be here.
Any other guests? Holly?
Holly Underwood, Hardin County Director of Economic Development. I got here after some of you, but I did bring a handout. We're doing a comprehensive economic development strategy with 4 other counties, so if you want to learn more about that, there are flyers on the front table.
Yes, there you go.
I'm calling with the state treasurer's office. Just want to put a quick plug in for a new program we started late last year. It's called the Buckeye Business Advantage. I know all the townships probably have small businesses within them. This program allows businesses of 150 employees or less to be able to get up to $1 million in financing and a reduction of interest of up to 3%. Just have to be headquartered in Ohio. 51% of the business has to be in Ohio. 51% of your employees have to live in Ohio, and you have to be for profit. If you need more information on it, just see me, or you can go to ohiotreasurer.gov.
Would that include some of these, larger, agricultural businesses? Still a family farm, but they
Yeah, as
have
long as
employees.
they're under 150 employees, so they can use it, along with ag land.
We tend to keep the bacon coming.
Yes, we do.
Okay, Mike.
Already?
Yep.
I gotta catch up with Trent. I don't know if everybody knows me, I'm Mike Bacon, retired county auditor, or retiring county auditor, so, I've always worked with the fiscal officers more than the trustees, but, this is my last year, so I appreciate, all the support I've had over the years and stuff, but I'm here to talk about, what's coming up next. Everybody pay their property taxes? Good. Just one half, right? Did everybody, that was a reminder, one half, don't pay the whole year. Second half is really gonna change. We just don't know how, so. But we'll start out what happened way back 2023, we had what's called a reval in the county. So we visit every property, go around and look, make changes. We've seen residential change about 25%. Agricultural went more than that. Because agriculture's on the CAUV. So those schedules are done by the state. It's done by soil type, so everything went up. All the schools hit the 2004. Charlie, you're on the board, aren't you? Used to be, okay. So all these schools, what you got here is how much of an increase they got in that fiscal year, and they're still getting. So we had 3.7 million schools in JVSs, just without a vote. So we've seen it coming, nothing we could do about it. So that was in 23, into 23, 24, nothing happens. And then 25, they put it in the biennial budget. The governor vetoed it, a lot of the process, a lot of the proposals. Then they had another committee meet. They passed, the House passed, I believe in October, Senate in September, governor in December 18th, and then now it's effective in March. So it's a really chaotic time because we're gonna change tax bills in the second half. We've never done it in 31 years since I've been, never had it happen. So look over the school things if you have any questions. And if you do have any questions while I'm going, please holler. Then next are the 5 bills that really pertain. House Bill 186 is what you're gonna hear a lot of. That's derived at the schools primarily. And you're gonna see this inflationary cap credit on your tax bill. Okay, everybody know what that is? It's a credit, but we don't know how much it is. So we're going back to 2022 values and looking at what they are today. And they're saying, okay, we had this large jump, we'll pick on Ada, went up 600,000. They're saying, well, you can't do that, you've gotta do inflationary growth. And it's gonna climb at 5% or whatever that number is. The state's not told us yet. And then they'll factor out the levies down or give the credit back. So that'll be coming up. So just to make you aware, I know it doesn't deal with townships, but I'm giving you a general things what's happening because there's other levies that are gonna change. They're also gonna change the rollbacks, the 10% rollback. Everybody know what that is? When you pay your taxes on some levies, you get a 10% rollback. The newer levies, you don't get it. So if you like Kenton's bond issue, they did not get that. The 2.5%, and also the 2.5% they don't get also. So they're gonna change the 10 and reduce it down each year by 0.25%, or 2.5%, excuse me. But they're gonna increase the 2.5% up. Well, the 2.5% is only good for 1 acre. So it's not on the your whole house or whole farm, it's just 1 acre. So they're gonna take away the 10 and the 2.5%. But if you have agricultural ground, they're gonna keep the 10. Very confusing, right? I'm not writing the program. So the software company's like, oh God, so that's something else that's gonna happen. The schools though, we're gonna be made whole for the second half that they're gonna reduce it by. The sales tax holidays gonna be reduced to 3 days. instead of, what was it, 12 days last year. So that's gonna make up that void, basically, to make those school districts whole. Quick synopsis of schools. There's other things, so. And that's just 186. So then we go to House Bill 335, and this talks about the Budget Commission. Everybody know where the Budget Commission is? We're gonna be the bad guys. Well, I'm not gonna be, but you're gonna have to come to us and we're gonna be acting judge, court, and decision, everything, basically. We have this power now. If you have excess funds, you're not using them, you don't get your levies. That's bottom line. So it's use your money, wisely, I guess, not, some of the schools move their money in improvement, but that's gonna be and it's gonna hit the inside millage. Everybody thinks that's, Daryl was talking about constitutional and.
Well, see, they said that it wasn't gonna affect the inside, the stuff that's collected on the inside now.
Yeah.
It is.
I think it is.
They told us at the Township Association.
Okay.
It was only gonna be the outside now.
Okay.
I think they're as confused as we are.
Well, it's very confusing, because we had a meeting with Department of Taxation, and they're like, well, this is what we think it is, and it's like, because they're reading through, they have several attorneys on staff that are just going through this paperwork, and it's like, and it's a lot of paperwork. So I think they're gonna hit everything if you haven't used it, you're gonna have that authority to take it away. So I think that's gonna be the bottom line. And they use the word unnecessary or excessive. That's like ASAP. How fast is yours, ASAP? Is it soon or? So my theory is, and I won't have anything to say about, is you probably have a 3-year window. You're gonna notice you have can I pick on Cessna?
Certainly.
Okay, he's behind me, so. Cessna has a good balance in the general fund from estate tax. Everyone knows what estate tax was?
We don't
It's
remember that.
Oh, well, some don't, it used to be on the estates, there was local tax, it was 80% went to the township, and stuff, and the townships, if your resident had a large estate, which they did, and they still have basically that money pretty much intact. So, but that's gone. That was one of the funding things that went about 8 years ago, probably.
About that, yeah.
So they do have a balance. So what I would say is bring them in. We'll say, what are you planning on doing? First year. Second year, have it changed, and then third year, you might lose your levy. But the problem I see is we don't want to take your levy away 1 year and then put it back on. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of a.
You're not taking the levy away, you're just reducing it to 0 for that year, or
Well,
a certain amount.
It's
Right.
gone for that year.
Yeah, but people aren't gonna re-vote
No,
to
no,
do
they
the
can't.
levy.
No.
Yeah, so when you
It
put it
was-
back on,
It's still intact, because there are a lot of
Yeah.
continuing levies that the townships have.
So, in all reality, because Wes and his 2 township trustees was so fiscally responsible,
You're not
this
being
is a
fined.
way to get slapped around for being that good, right? I
Right,
mean,
basically, yes.
Okay.
Like I said, we're gonna be the judge, and,
use it or lose it.
in the packet that Daryl had done, I had it separate, but these are your inside levies just for each township. We had to make a list for this when they were voting or collecting it for all across the state. With the increases that the schools got, just for the county, we got $653,000 more dollars in the rebound. $653,000. And then we've had that for the last 2 years. Well, this will be the 3rd year right now. So, is that excessive? We had a 35% increase. So what they're saying is it has to be inflationary increases, whether that's 5% or whatever they determine to be. We'll have to go back. Now, we're not gonna get reimbursed like the schools are, but the county will be probably cut. We just don't know how much yet, so. Everybody see that one?
It's the second page after
The
the
second page.
legislative fiscal.
It's not in my stuff, it's in what he has. Sorry, if you got very many copies of it, I'm not gonna give it to you. Second page, you said, Daryl?
Yep, second
Okay.
page.
So, go ahead.
You talk about inflationary increases, is it kind of related or tied to CPI or some other?
Well,
like that?
we've not heard what they're using yet.
Okay, what in years of recession when the inflation is negative?
Well, that's, inside millage goes back and forth, but that gives you that flexibility. We had some years when CUV went up and then when it goes down, we lose that money, basically. But when we had our reval, we were valued at 660 million for the county roughly, and we went to 880 in 23. 880 million, so that's where the 655 or 653,000 comes from, taking it times the 2 mils, or 2.8 mils, excuse me.
Will the CAUV reduce that?
No,
No.
if it goes down, it
Yep.
will, only in every 3 years.
Yeah, but that didn't happen this year?
We're working on it this year.
Okay, yeah.
For next
it'll
year,
happen.
so we're gonna go, we're getting there yet.
Okay.
So,
It's coming.
so every year, or every 3 years, we have either a reval or a triennial update. So we had the reval in 23, we're in the triennial update. So now we don't go out and look at your properties, we're gonna look at the sales. And we have the sales for the last 3 years. They're bad if you really, I mean, things have sold, just things that they must have gold inside sometimes, you don't know. It's crazy. We thought interest rates would slow it down. It may have a little, but, you know, we had a sale just in Dunkirk, it was 76,000, sold for 255. So we're way off on that, you know, it's just, so we don't have our letter yet from the state that'll tell us where we should be at. My guess, it's gonna be more than we did in 23. You know, I said 25%? You want to bet on that, Mike? No. Okay. Lower or higher?
Over under.
Yeah, so we're gonna see another, and now we don't know what, normally we could tell what's gonna happen next year when we have that type of increase. But with all the changes, we don't know what's gonna happen. And that's what we told the schools this morning. We met with the school treasurers and superintendents, and we're just, all we can certify is what we have now, and then go from there. So we're really, it's a lot of unknowns. Like I said, it's a good time to retire, but, you know, because it's gonna be, and we had Jim Hoops that was a co-sponsor on the one bill, or 2 bills, I believe. He was there, helped explain this morning, what the thoughts and what the decision was behind the scenes, I guess, kind of, so, you know, and why they came up with what they did, so. I guess, stay tuned, I'll try to keep everybody informed as we go, you know, but we won't know anything until March 20th or sometime after for the second half. So that's why we, you know, Brianna and I talked how to advertise, not to pay the whole year. A lot of farmers like to do that, you know, in December even. And so we tried to stress not to do that, because we really don't want to be refunding, you know, money is, you know, we'd rather, I think she's gonna try to apply it to the second half, or first half 2027 then, so. But we just don't know what it's gonna be, so. So, anything quick or answers? Yes, Ron.
Okay, so, I guess, when we think about levies and we think about stuff like that, I think about a fire levy, for example. Fire levy pays for any fire contracts or any expenses that you have, correct?
Right, yes.
Okay,
What ballot language says, dictates.
So I guess when you look at most of the townships probably in this room right now, if you look at the amount that they have from that levy, there might be a little bit extra in there.
Right.
That this committee might think is what they're not spending, and what that is, that extra is what you're saving for to buy in 30 years, your next fire truck.
Right, I agree, I don't disagree with you.
I mean.
And I think we just need something in writing, just to show that we've met with you, or the board, you know, the committee has met with you, or commission, excuse me, and you have it in writing, what you're doing. And that's, you know, I mean.
So that could be
Right.
taken into consideration.
Right. But, you know, you're gonna, nobody's here, let's see, who's been here, Alan's been here longest.
Alan's the longest.
Yeah.
I'm second longest.
Remember what we used to do in July? Tax budgets, didn't we? And we had to fill this form out, and you didn't know what you were really filling it out for. You were speculating 2 years out, and you were gonna use the money, because that's how your local government got distributed also, was on need. And so, I was at the city at the time, and, you know, I said, we were buying a fire truck, we were paving every street, you know, showing the need. just to get the money, or, you know, the percentage of money. So those have been gone, and we've adopted that formula for local government using road miles, population evaluation in 99, 2000, somewhere out there. You weren't there either, were you?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah. So that took care of that portion, but now this is kind of reminding you, coming before the tax budget, or the budget commission, filling out the tax budget in July and saying, here's what you're gonna need for, if you have that balance. So, cause Daryl was asking, when do you do it? And I said, it's probably gonna have to be in that July, August thing, because we're certifying the rates to you and the amounts in August usually, that you pass in September or October. So, it's gonna be interesting, you know? And then the next question is, what happens if it goes away? What's your plan? No taxes. If it votes to go away.
You're talking no property tax.
Property tax.
Yeah.
What's your alternative for funding?
Pretty much all of us have to go to a levy.
We didn't have to go to levies.
But there's no levies. You can't use levies.
Yeah.
So your fires are, yeah.
So basically what that means is that the Township Association had better become as strong as it can, because basically they're trying to get rid of township government. The oldest form of government in the state of Ohio, and this is their way to get rid of it, and that's the game plan.
That's why the governor was there the other day. I think he realizes that if they get their, what is it, 450,000 signatures,
Yeah.
it'll pass. And, it'll be the end of, you know, it'll be the end of townships.
It'll be the end of townships.
And-
Townships is
and
the only
library-
form.
Libraries and, you know, and the way he explained it, the way the language is written that they're getting signatures for, there's nothing in there that says, this is what we're gonna use instead to fund when you pick up the phone when my house is on fire.
They have no plan.
They have, they wrote it intentionally, and there's no plan
There's
for.
no plan.
I don't know if that's, I mean, not to be in a property, tax debate with you, but, you know, it was written to abolish, because you only have so many things that you can amend the Constitution with. But to say that removing the one area where you can tax a property doesn't remove tax, right? And it doesn't remove township lines, right? You're just saying that you're not being
If
able
you
to.
have no money to do. If you
Yeah,
can't pay
but
for
to
it,
say
you
that
can't.
the legislatures are the only ones who can make the decision on how the funding changes. I mean, we've got 5 bills that were brought in that changes the way funding's done. I'm just a counter in the fact that it's not as, there's more, do your own research.
Our general fund, which is part of the inside millage, that funds the health department, that funds the EMA department. It funds the paychecks for the trustees and fiscal officer. Also, when you eliminate the property tax, one thing they brought up is if you have a bond issue that's collecting property tax for bonds, for most of the time bonds go for schools, well, you would automatically the state would automatically be default on their loans. Because,
Bond rating would go
yeah,
in the tank.
yeah.
I'm not saying it's not complicated, it's complicated.
That person that buys those bonds, he's expecting interest off those bonds.
And it goes further than that, because Bill Seitz was a representative from Hamilton County down in the Cincinnati area for a long time. And he's on the governor's commission that they're trying to do some changes with the property taxes and how they're collected. One thing he indicated, he says that, you know, if I live in Cincinnati and I have to, in order to replace this money, if they raise, sales tax to 18%, where's Hamilton County gonna go get their groceries and all their goods and services?
Not in Ohio,
South of the river.
yeah.
So what does that do to the economy in the state, and what's that do to employment in the state? I mean, it's is very poorly thought out.
I was gonna say, that's what they're proposing, correct? Is that like, if property taxes go away, that sales tax would pick that up, and somehow they would have to
18%.
refigure. They would
And
somehow
right now,
have to.
state income tax is at, 2.75. He said probably you would have to go up to 10%
But
in state income tax.
wouldn't that all have to be reconfigured on what we're getting as a township? Like, that would all have to be reconfigured
Right.
again.
And that's where it'll go to per capita, and that's where Hardin County will be up a creek, because, well, Cessna and Goshen are the two smallest populated townships in the county, so if we get paid per person, yeah, guess who's gonna get the least?
But to say that, you know, when I look at levies that are put on, and a lot of times, citizens are out there voting for those levies, right? Because they want those services. You can't have a situation where the state says, we're not gonna fund them anymore. I mean, those are your people, right? And so you're gonna have to have emergency services. You cannot just get rid of them. You cannot just get rid of government because you don't like how it's done.
The state's been since John Kasich, and we all remember most, the seasoned people here know that when Kasich passed, he did away with a lot of public public funds account. And that's when we had to pass the sheriff's levy, that's when we had to pass the 4-H levy, because there wasn't that much money coming into the general fund for the county and us also. So they've been gradually trying to do away with the government funds. And this is in the state of Ohio. This is a lot of states. They've been trying to lower the sales tax, and they just keep lowering and lowering it. And you'll see in the report there that at one time, well, before Kasich, 60% of government services was funded by industry, and 40% was funded by residential. Well, that's flipped. Now it's 60% is funded by residential and 40% is funded by industry. So, and this, like I say, this isn't just Ohio. There's many states trying to get the lower tax rate to entice business to come forward. So this is not just Ohio plan. This is a big plan for a lot of states.
Yeah, which I would say, you know, they've created a situation where they took away funds, they unbalanced the way it was funded, put it heavy on the residents to where the residents can't pay, and then they go, what are we gonna do? So,
Yeah.
but that's where townships, you should be on the front lines, right? To say, we're not going to lose our townships, we are going to fund them. And is there a direct way to fund, to bill your people, right? To directly, instead of going through all the bureaucracy? I'm just saying, that's where your citizens are trusting in you guys to say, we do need to fight for our county lines.
By statute, townships can only levy a property tax. The only way we can do a income tax is if you're part of a joint economic.
No, I just mean straight billing.
But you have to be associated with a village or a town.
The Ohio Revised Code, it gets revised.
Oh, it's gonna need a lot of revisions.
Yeah.
But there's no state in the country that has 0 property tax.
There are 5 of them looking at it.
There's none right now that have no property tax.
As we keep moving, we'll find more answers.
Yeah.
I guess. So,
Yeah.
any
Can I
questions?
add one-
Yeah, go ahead.
One more potential casualty of the abolishment of property taxes, a pilot program.
Yeah, we've been trying to research that, so.
Pilot program.
Pilot,
Payment
yeah.
in lieu of taxes.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
property taxes are abolished, then the person, even though there's a contractual relationship between renewable energy companies and the county, if an essential element of the contract is disappeared, which is contracts, then, I mean, the money is gone. The
And,
town's not gonna get any.
yeah, the federal government's even talking about doing away with the pilot money in 28. Legislators, they throw stuff on the wall, see what sticks. And that's one of those things they're throwing out there. But yeah, if the pilot money goes away, that's a big deal.
Yeah. This
You
pilot,
got a question?
Yeah, I mean, even this whole property tax thing, if this all happens, this is the thing that rabbit holes, they don't know when it takes effect, if it does pass. Like, I understood, correct?
It
Like,
takes
if
away.
it passes,
I was
it's
told it was
26, or
January
27.
yeah, it's how it's written, I guess. That's gonna be the key. If you, it's like when you put a levy on a township, you'll say collection year payable. And I think that's where they're gonna have to spell that out, how soon it's gonna be, whether it's immediate or a year later, I guess.
We have a year, well, so you have a year in rears, right? So
Well,
if
in
it,
normal, but you still, if you pass a property levy, they can collect it right away.
right, but they, so the
So make it a
legislators
limit,
have,
too.
they have 2 years, right? So there's a limit that if it passes, they have 2 years in the legislation to come up with a replacement plan, right? So it's not, they can't drag it out forever.
Pulled down Columbus.
Yeah, I don't think it's.
It was, they don't even know, like, they don't even know, does it take effect 26, or does it take effect 27? They don't even know that, I mean, it's a rabbit hole that,
I think it
quite
has
honestly,
to
no
be,
one knows about.
it has to be spelled out in the ballot language. That's the only way you're gonna do it. So people know what they're voting for and when it starts, or ends, or whatever you wanna say.
So, as Alan can confirm, in the past, the way these things have been handled by our great townships in Hardin County is that you make sure that you always have a reserve, so if you have to go a year or two without funds, you can survive. And that's exactly what Wes's Township's geared for, and the rest of us are geared for,
Right.
that they wanna take away from us. Another reason this association has got to become stronger.
And you guys gathering here makes it stronger,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
It's up to us, it's
Yeah.
up to each person, as a township trustee, and I think what's really nice, I'm gonna say hats off, Liberty Township is here tonight. Thank you guys, because over 32 years, you guys have hardly been here. I mean,
Not
your
you, not you.
predecessors.
Trent,
Your predecessors.
Just barely.
Your predecessors. So, I mean, I am thrilled to death to see 2 of you here. I am, and everybody else in this room is too, because it takes the whole county to do this. And
It's because you kept me off drugs and DARE program before.
You're welcome.
Just say no.
You didn't have to follow me in education too.
I guess, we'll see if they get the signatures, has to be in by July first, right? I think it's.
I think so.
July first, so that's the key date, I guess, to start it, if they got valid signatures.
And the Township Association said that they're playing their cards pretty close. They're saying that, I've heard people say they don't have enough signatures, people say it's gonna be on the ballot. I'd say, folks, assume it's gonna be on the ballot, because we need to do a better job of educating our constituents, what we do with our money, how we do it. The inside millage, it all needs, we need to know more than what Mike gives us, how much we're gonna get. We figure out what we're gonna do with it, and that's how we've had to deal with it. We're gonna have to step up the plate a little bit more, educate ourselves, educate our constituents, and.
Yeah, and the reason the inside millage is there, I just gave it, was, at one time, they were gonna abolish it. That was one of the proposals. It was gonna be gone because it wasn't voted levy. Now, the inside millage, started in 1933, something
No,
like
that's
that.
what it was, that's when this was put out in
Yeah,
33. It
33.
was started
It was
in in the 1800s,
You're right, it was originally 15 mills.
and it started, in 1919, it went to 15 mils. In 28, they reduced it back to 10, and then 33 is when our forefathers decided how to divide that up.
So, I mean, it's across the board, schools are differently, you know, 8 is like at 5.6, where another district's at 3 point something, you know, it's not, it really just depended on who had the biggest voice, I don't know what you would call it, you know, but their clout, probably,
So-
how it got distributed,
So when you figure up how much your what the inside millage is for your area, you would add the Hardin County's 2.8, you'd go down to your school district, you'd add that, and then you'll go to your Dudley Township or Goshen Township. I didn't realize Goshen Township had 4 funds. But we actually fund our, road and bridge from the inside millage. There's only a couple of you that fund your road and bridge from the inside millage. So, yeah, thank our forefathers for back in 1933.
But that was one of the 52 proposals, I think there was, for taxation last year,
Yeah.
changes. And the inside millage, we had to put a chart together to say how much it affected ours, because our representatives wanted to know, to go to the table basically to support it. I think they were still in support of it.
And
It will be scaled back, but we just don't know.
don't let them, the argument that it was not voted on is true, but our forefathers put this on the Constitution in 18-something for the inside millage. It had to be voted on to get to the Constitution. It just don't appear on the Constitution. You have to.
The Ohio Constitution? What
Yeah,
Constitution?
it's part of, the inside millage is part of the Ohio Constitution. And that's why it's so, there's the long way and the short way. You go out and you get 400 and some odd signatures in 44 counties and you put it on the ballot, or the legislators can pass it by, what is it, 2/3 majority, and then it has to go to the voters. So that's the short way, but voters still have to do it, put it on or off. And in my opinion, the legislators are looking for quick fixes. And quick fixes never are good. So.
Okay, any questions? I'll stay around if you have any later.
There.
Thank you.
Another sort of stuff. I'm not gonna waste you guys' time on election of officers very long. We need election of officers. You guys were screen freeze the last time I mentioned election of officers. At least give us a vice president. So let's start with the easy one first, vice president. Is there any volunteers for vice president?
Can I ask a foolish question?
Yes, sir.
What's the rules and procedures say on how to do this? Doesn't it say there should be a committee
They're
created and then that goes for a period of time? And
Yes,
are
and
we
that-
just not going by any of that anymore?
Well, we missed that because Randy retired in the middle there. You are correct. There should be an election committee.
I think that's why everybody was kind of, cold the last time, is because
Yes.
there wasn't any procedure being followed.
Right.
Okay.
So, being we can hold, you also are allowed to have the election if nobody, last time I tried to get an election committee, I didn't even get an election committee. So like I said, I'm not gonna waste much time on this. Either somebody steps up or somebody needs to step up. At least for vice president. Have a least person for vice president.
Or can we do an election committee? If somebody wants to get an election committee together, let's do that.
If you're on the election committee, that means you're not necessarily gonna get elected. So that's a good place to be. And this is a.
I'm happy to help on an election committee, but we have to have the right number of people, though. We have to follow the rules.
We have to have one from each township. I think there's need three, if I remember correctly. We need one who brought our rosters to.
So I'll volunteer for Pleasant Township.
Appreciate that. Need two people one from each, another township. You need from 3 different townships.
I'll do it for Dudley.
Thank you. One more. Like I say, if you're on the nominating committee, you don't have to be part of the,
I'll do it for McDonald.
there you go, appreciate it. We got an election nominating committee. We'll start with that. Roster.
The roster, we've got all the information, and I took it to Golden Graphics, I think it was Monday. So, I'll try to get, when she gives me an electronic proof, I'll try to send it out to the fiscal officers for every township. They can proof everything, and then we'll get roster books out, so.
Send that to us, we put it on the webpage too.
Yeah, I'll get you one.
Please.
So, but yeah, it went fairly well. We had, just about everybody that advertised, last time, and we've got a few new ones too, so thanks everybody for getting your stuff in.
Okay, now, you guys did half my, report, so, I'm gonna try to skip through it. Like I said, the state income tax, that gives you a breakdown, the state income tax reduces it by 525 million, for the year 2026. 96.6% is, does not go, will be eliminated from the Ohio General Fund. And then 3.4% being split between local government, us again, and public library. So those two funds will be depleted by the income tax. Well, the government giveth, the government take away. So, the local government fund, gets an increase of 0.05%, 1.77% to 1.75%. Projections indicate that that'll increase the local government fund to 530.9 million. Don't forget that that's over 88 counties. All of us local government, village, cities, townships, counties, will be allocated in 2026. And expected of 541.2 million in 2027. Property tax distribution, that gives you how much goes to schools, how much goes to county government, how much goes to townships. West printed off this, how much goes to different entities. Legislation that they're wanting to pass, House Bill 609, that mandates that that allowed every public comment before taking a formal action for any item. So you'll have to ask for public comment after you read the minutes, after you give your bills to be paid. It's gonna make for a long drawn out meeting, with no benefit for the public really, other than making a long meeting.
Are you saying that, is that House Bill 609? What was that?
That's a proposed legislation.
Oh, okay.
So start rattling your legislators' cage saying this is not a good way to run government. I don't know where these folks are getting their pressure from. I went to the chamber, meeting down in Columbus for elected officials, and I talked to their legislative representative, lobbyist, and he believes that they get our phones, they get likes and dislikes on things, and that's what's pushing a lot of our bills and whatnot in legislature. It's kind of a crazy world, folks. I mean, it's getting weird. There is also, I can't remember the bill, but they're wanting for people to combine services for all sorts of government. Clay Flynn was instrumental back in the 70s, 60s, 70s. He asked the townships to contract with the county to do tar and chip, road widening. We've been doing this for a long time, and you talk to other townships, they have their own road crews, they have their own road maintenance. Yeah, we've been ahead of the game for a long time. But they're going to be asking us to combine more stuff. They may be combined, townships, because like I say, Wes and I are the smallest populated townships, but we have 11 big hog barns in our township, so we don't have to worry about being annexed. But we try to keep the bacon coming. So it's just something that's gonna be more combined services. What can we do to combine things? Just be looking at new ways to do stuff, I guess is the bottom line. Any questions on any of that? We've had a lot of questions tonight. Mark Dahl had a resolution he wanted read.
Yeah, Mark was gonna be here tonight, but he, texted me this morning, said he was out with the flu today, so he didn't wanna come. He has, asked to get support from this, body about, a letter of support for the county to conduct a 20-year comprehensive land use plan that will look at land use needs, housing needs, infrastructure needs, and economic development growth areas for the entire county. And, he just would like, rather than asking every individual township, he'd like a support, resolution of support for that tonight from this group, so.
I'll make that motion.
Ron? Is there a second to that motion? We do this every year, so nothing new.
Second, turn pass.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Motion passed.
Thank you.
County officers. Joe, Tim?
We started our security this week. It's been well received. We're still, it's a work in progress, but I think everybody I've talked to understands regrettably the situation this country's in right now. You never be too safe, and we want our employees and the residents to be safe. So, it might take just a second more to get in, but I think it's gonna be good for the rest of the time, so.
I've been to other courthouses and it's the same process throughout the state, so.
My understanding is there's only 3 counties in the state that don't have them.
Really, that don't surprise me.
I guess I'd like to add a few things.
Sure.
As an outgoing commissioner at the end of this year, and with the possibility of property tax being voted on, I think you need to all be very careful on who you elect for different positions. What their opinions are, what they're going for. You put the county in a big bind, and townships, if property tax go away, just go away. And if it starts January 1, I won't be here, but who you pick next will be. So, I'm not saying go with anybody. There's a lot of you running for commissioner, a lot of you running for trustees, and a lot of you voting on this property tax thing if it makes the ballot. So just make sure you do your homework, because you're setting the county up for the future. And if the property tax goes away, general fund will be down quite a bit. And so will the trustees or the townships and everybody else. I've heard a couple townships are I'm gonna step on my toes here, but, some entities assume that the county will take over the bills of everybody. If this happens, it's not gonna happen. And you're only, the state's looking at letting you put, sales tax on, or 1%, but everything's gonna be a year behind. So you better have a general fund and operating to run for 1 year, because it's gonna take you a year, or the county, I'm saying, to, get additional funds. If they lose 28% with all this, and then you put it on the ballot, you think you're gonna pass, if you just did away with property tax, you think people are gonna be wanting to put on more sales tax. So, you may put yourself in a bind. We're one of the few counties that's out of debt, and, a couple of them would probably go bankrupt, other counties, if this happens. So, I'm not saying it's not a good thing, it's not a bad thing. I think there may be a compromise in between, but they're not looking at that. It's gonna get put on the ballot the way it's gonna get put on. So, just be careful who you're electing and what you're voting for. Whether you're voting for or against, I'm not pushing either way. But this is probably most one of the most pivotal voting periods coming up, not only in the primary, but that pushes people to November elections. Whoever wins in November, I'm talking commissioner wise, will have to deal with what happens January 1. So, pick wisely.
Thanks, Tim. Anything else? Entertain a motion to adjourn. That should be an easy one.
I'll make that motion.
Scott.
I'll second, Kelsey.
Motion and second. Any discussions? All in favor say aye. Thank you everyone for coming.
How are you doing?